Houthi summer centers continue to infect minds of Yemeni youth with sectarian ideologies. Nissan project announces demining more than 400,000 landmines in Yemen during the past 5 years. The United Nations says that food security improves in liberated areas. Good evening. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. I am Abir Ali and you're watching the English news. The Houthi militia is continuing to blow up the Yemeni identity and minds. During the last 9 years, children were the focus of the militia through summer centers that the Houthi uses to brainwash children's minds. More is in the following report.
Under the slogan Education and Jihad, the Houthi group is taking advantage of summer vacations for students of schools and vocational technical institutes in order to push children into what are known as summer centers, which aim to sectarianize societies and create a human group that deals with children as fuel to reinforce its war against the Yemenis that has been going on for 9 years. The Houthi strategy of booby-trapping children's brains and their ideas has gone beyond its confinement to the young, to include this time parents, which is the most dangerous method for the Yemeni society and families, as it aims to attract the parents who are the most close to their children. While the tools of the Houthis are different to attract Yemeni children and mobilize them to its sectarian camps, observers believe that the courses of the summer centers imposed by the Houthi militia on students are an intellectual mining process that will plunge Yemen into cycles of violence for decades. The Tehran-backed militia works through the so-called summer centers to feed school children and institute students with its sectarian slogans, and to develop violent and hate speech through doctrinal approaches that turn them into ticking bombs. This massive mobilization of children practiced by the Houthi group seasonally is very frightening and means that the group is controlling the country's future, taking its citizens to wars and cycles of violence for decades to come. The Houthi group seeks, through the so-called classroom centers, to strike social cohesion among Yemenis and create sectarian differences. In addition to the threat posed by summer centers to Yemeni society and its cohesion, at the same time, they are no more than camps for recruiting Yemeni children and students in areas under their control to exploit them in its years-long war. The Houthi sectarian group seeks to divide Yemenis while trying to promote Iran's anti-peace ideology in order to create a fertile environment for itself to multiply, which will fuel sectarian conflict among the people of the same country.
Local sources said a landmine exploded in a car south of Al Jouf Governorate, killing 2 children and wounding 3 others. Al Jouf Governorate is considered one of the most Yemeni governorates in which the Houthi militia planted mines indiscriminately, which claimed the lives of thousands of civilians, most of them children and women. A United Nations office said that millions of landmines and explosives blocked the arrival of humanitarian aid in Yemen. The United Nations Office for Humanitarian Affairs confirmed that millions of landmines and explosives continue to threaten the lives of civilians in Yemen. According to the United Nations, those mines and explosives impede the movement of people and goods and the arrival of humanitarian aid. Nissan project announced it has removed 400,070 mines, unexploded ordnance and explosive devices in various liberated areas of Yemen since its operation in 2018. The total areas of land that have been cleared since the beginning of the project's work until today amounted to 46 million square meters. This report has more details.
In 5 years of time, Massan demining project has removed 400,000 landmines and explosive devices. Mr. Osama Al-Gusaybi, managing director of Massan project, announced the great achievements of this project, using figures to demonstrate to the entire world the success of this humanitarian work in Yemen with the support of Saudi Arabia and King Salman's center. Yemen has been suffering from the landmines planted by the Houthis over the past years. This has been happening as a result of repeated political and military conflicts that have provoked instability. As the conflict between the Houthis and the Yemeni government becomes more violent, mine laying increases intensely as they lay mines randomly, which makes the process of removing them extremely difficult. According to Yemeni demining experts, over 1 million landmines have been laid since the civil war began in late 2014, when the Houthi militia took control of the capital Sana'a. Landmines pose a serious danger on the lives of the Yemeni people, despite all the efforts made to remove them. Not to mention the great number of innocent people that were killed as a result of these mines. In addition to people losing their body parts like their arms or legs as a result of these landmines. So far, Massam Demining Project was able to remove 400,000 mines to help Yemen regain its security against these explosive devices. Al-Ghusaybi stated that Massam is a project of life, a project of struggle, aiming to lay the foundations of a safe life from mines in Yemen. Houthi mines do not only harm civilians physically, but they also destroy their mental health. People in Yemen suffer from psychological and social trauma. Travelers, herders, farmers, children, women, and displaced people, even animals, are not spared the evils of these dangerous explosives.
The Iranian-backed Houthi militia kidnapped the body of a child after killing him in a village in the south of Taiz Governorate. A local source said the Houthi militia stormed the village with dozens of armed crews and kidnapped the child's body. The sources added that the Houthi militia took the body of the child along with his family members. 4 members of the terrorist Houthi militia were killed and wounded by government forces' fire east of the city of Taiz. Field sources confirmed that clashes between the two sides broke out following a failed militia infiltration attempt east of Taiz, where government forces were able to thwart the Houthi infiltration attempt. The terrorist Houthi militia has sent human and combat reinforcements to a number of fronts in Yemen. Field sources said that the militia sent reinforcements, military equipment, weapons and fighters to the front of Ma'rib, Taiz, Hajja, Al-Dala and areas in Al-Bayda with Abyan and Lahj. These movements coincided with the creation of new sites and fortifications and the digging of trenches on the Ma'rib fronts.
من بداية الحرب ارتفع سعر المواشي وارتفع سعر الأعلاف. القونية البر عندي 50,000، يلا نشتري نص قونية. بالنسبة لنا الرعاة عندنا يعني نفكر بالأعلاف، هذا اللي نفكر به. اليوم أقام منظمات الفاو وأعطيتنا احنا 3 جواني أعلاف و3 قوالب ملحية. نستفيد من الأعلاف غذاء للمواشي حافظا على صحة الأغنام، والقوالب الملحية فاتحة للشهية. الذي استلمته اليوم ويساعدنا في هذه المعيشة الاقتصادية الأسرة. يعني بدل ما اشتري الأعلاف اشتري الذهب.
The World Food Programme, UNICEF, and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations reported a slight improvement in the food situation in areas controlled by the Yemeni government. The three United Nations agencies stated that Yemen remains, however, one of the most food insecure countries in the world, mainly driven by the impact of conflict and economic decline. This report has more.
According to a new UN report, the food security situation in Yemen's government-controlled districts has improved, dropping to 22%. The report didn't cover the Houthi-ruled areas due to the restrictions imposed by them on relief organizations and their local partners. This integrated food security phase classification report covered 118 districts and areas under the control of the legitimate Yemeni government. However, the number of people facing severe acute food insecurity remains very high and of great concern in the majority of the analyzed districts. The IPC is an innovative multi-partner initiative for improving food security and nutrition analysis and decision-making. By using the IPC classification and analytical approach, governments, UN agencies, NGOs, civil society, and other relevant actors work together to determine the severity and magnitude of acute and chronic food insecurity and acute malnutrition situations in a country, according to internationally recognized scientific standards. At the same time, the population with severe needs is projected to increase, starting June, with Yemen remaining one of the most food insecure countries in the world. The report warned that these modest improvements were only a temporary reprieve, as the key drivers of food insecurity remain and are projected to worsen during the period from June to December 2023. The report showed that between January and May 2023, about 3.2 million people experienced high levels of acute food insecurity in government-controlled areas, representing a 23% drop from the period between October and December 2022. The area level classification is expected to deteriorate further during the projection period for acute malnutrition, with all 16 zones being classified in IPC Phase 3 and above. The main drivers of the deterioration include a projected 20% shortfall in humanitarian assistance, an anticipated increase in food and fuel prices to about 30% above the average levels, and a continuation of conflict in frontline districts.
Coming up in the news. University of Taz organizes a symposium on cybersecurity. Welcome back. Taz University held a workshop on cybersecurity. In this regard, the workshop affirmed the importance of inaugurating the cybersecurity department at the university. It said the department will meet the needs of the labor market and will give graduate students a job opportunity at the local or external level.
We are holding this session today to identify the cybersecurity. This has multiple uses that offers many jobs on the local, regional and international level. We are all here about the cybercrimes that include hacker attacks on different institutions and individuals. We organized this workshop to qualify and educators to deal with cybercrimes in a high-quality manner. We organized this workshop to introduce the cybersecurity field in order to prepare the stage for qualified graduates who are able to deal with the cybercrimes in a qualified and specialized way.
5 people from one family drowned in a water dam west of the Yemeni capital Sana'a after their car fell into a lake. Media reported that the 5 people, including 2 women and 2 children, died while the 6th person managed to escape by jumping out of the car before it reached the lake. Yemeni chambers of commerce accused the Houthi group of continuing its arbitrary measures against the private sector. The chamber spoke of the closure of companies and commercial facilities in the capital Sana'a without the insurance of court rulings. The Central Bank of the Yemen warned exchange companies against accepting deposits and distributing profits to customers. The Central Bank of Yemen confirmed that exchange companies are limited to buying and selling foreign currencies and money transfers only, noting that punitive measures will be taken against the violating institutions. More is in the following report.
The Central Bank of Yemen warned exchange companies against accepting deposits and distributing profits to customers, as it is being promoted on social media. The Central Bank confirmed that exchange companies are limited according to the law to buying and selling foreign currencies and money transfers only, and are not allowed to maintain any type of bank accounts, noting that banks are authorized according to the law to practice this type of banking business. Exchange companies and institutions took advantage of the liquidity crisis in banks, especially in the first 4 years of the war that began in 2015, and many customers withdrew their deposits and moved from dealing with the banks to the exchange sector and companies. An official banking source said the government monetary institutions, represented by the Central Bank of Yemen, is committed to precautionary policies and procedures, strict implementation of laws, and putting an end to acts that violate the banking system, which leads to the reorganization of the monetary financial cycle. Bankers believe that the exchange companies and shops carry out the tasks of banks and exercise a role greater than their size and authorizations in accordance with the applicable banking laws, and this was at the expense of the official banking sector in Yemen in general. The Central Bank in Iran had warned in early May of what it described as destructive and illegal measures against financial and banking sector, stressing that the laws governing and regulating the work of financial and banking institutions are the laws of the Republic of Yemen, issued by its internationally recognized legal and elected constitutional institutions.
The Kuwaiti charitable organization Najat works with passion towards sustainable good through humanitarian programs, projects and campaigns to reduce the problems of poverty, ignorance and disease around the world. In Yemen, the organization is doing its efforts to provide the Yemenis with humanitarian aid and services. In Hodeidah, the local authority laid the foundation stone for the Daupus residential village project in the Hais district, south of the province, with Kuwaiti support. The project targets orphan families, which consist of 48 housing units, in addition to a health unit and a mosque.
We want to thank Kuwait for the help it provides. They always provide charitable aid in Yemen. This project will help the orphans, especially after their increase due to the war. We hope Kuwait provides more projects. We built 46 houses, a mosque, clinic and educational center, in addition to a well, and we hope to provide more help for Yemenis in the future.
Here is a reminder of the main headlines. Houthi summer centers continue to infect minds of Yemeni youth with sectarian ideologies. The SAM project announces demining more than 400,000 landmines in Yemen during the past 5 years. The United Nations says that food security improves in liberated areas. This is the end of the news. It was Abir Ali, and thank you for watching.